I want to have a quick chat about whey protein and meal replacement shakes, because maybe that's something you've been thinking about. Now, whey protein, in fact, has been shown to impact blood sugar and or insulin response. So I just want to explain that really quickly. Whey protein, even taken with some water, even if it's pure whey protein, has been shown in some people to impact blood sugar. Now, there's mixed thoughts on why exactly this is the case, so I'm not going to really get into it, but there are a couple of reasons why that might happen. So it's also good to remember that whey protein by itself really isn't a meal replacement. The only thing really that you could be replacing is the low-fat protein portion of a complete meal. Now, my suggestion is basically to not use whey protein powder, but of course under some circumstances whey protein may be a good idea. Number one, if you're really stuck and there's absolutely no other way you can get protein into your body, maybe it's a good selection. And number two, if you are doing quite a lot of weights like we talked about in the exercise section, and you're already come down to quite a low body fat percentage, you might want to add some whey protein powder and have it with your meals. Now, my suggestion, if you're doing either of the above, is to use it with a little bit of Saigon cinnamon as well, and to always buy a natural unflavored whey protein. Now, whey protein concentrate and whey protein isolate are very similar. The isolate tends to get priced a lot more expensive, so I generally go for the concentrate. And I always suggest that you buy online, because generally speaking it's a lot cheaper than buying in a local shop. But of course, if you have a shop that has some good discounts, then maybe that's a good option for you. Now, always mix it with water. Don't worry about mixing it with milk or anything else like that. Just stick with mixing it with water, and then you know exactly what you're getting, and it's basically almost all protein that you're going to be taking in. Now, I always suggest having it with a meal, so it's a protein supplement, if you like. It's an addition of protein to a meal, so your body digests it with whole food. Because I tend to think that if you're going to just have whey protein by itself, you know, you're not really getting a complete portion, if you like, of a meal. You're literally just putting in some protein, which probably isn't going to do you as much good as having a whole meal with it. Now, the evil cousin, if you like, of whey protein powder is those meal replacement shake powders that you might see in a pharmacy, you might see at some of those big box stores, you might actually see for sale even at your local gym, because they tend to have a really high markup. And I can tell you why they have a high markup. That's because they have excellent graphic designers and excellent marketing teams, and they convince people that these meal replacement shakes can help them lose weight. And at the end of the day, generally speaking, in fact, these kind of shakes can actually slow people's weight loss down. And I can explain why that is. So it's not just a crazy claim that I'm making. Now, in general terms, these meal replacement shakes, if you check out the nutrition panel, they don't really replace a good meal. They might replace kind of a junk food meal. A lot of them have a lot of sugar, or even if they don't have pure sugar, they have a lot of carbohydrate. They generally don't have much fiber, if any at all. And I've also seen some that have what I consider to be quite a low amount of protein, maybe, you know, something like 9 grams or 14 grams. And if you're going to pay, you know, $2, $3, $4 for some of these meal replacement shakes, I'd want to be getting more fiber, more protein, not so much sugar. Well, I think you've got my take on these. So they can be really expensive. They can also be quite low on calories, so they're not really replacing a complete meal like what you might be eating with, you know, beans, low-fat protein, and vegetables. And speaking of vegetables, these things generally don't have any kinds of micronutrients that you might be getting in from the vegetables and from the beans that you eat. So I'm really not a fan of these meal replacement shakes, even the ones that say that they're incredibly healthy for you and they do these amazing things. My thought is, well, you know, whole food does that anyway, and you don't need to be paying, you know, $4 or $5 per serving for whole food. You can do that a lot more cheaply. And to me, it can taste a lot better as well.